Hey guys, Andrew Fox here and welcome back to the channel. So in today's episode, I am going to tell you about a share that I have got an 1800% return on investment on. That means 18 times my money back so far, and it may actually go on to being worth 100 times what I paid for it or beyond. So let me tell you a bit about the backstory of how I discovered this secret share. So I was in San Francisco about 2016 November, and I'd actually been speaking to a group of Asian entrepreneurs at one of the local tech companies. And when I went for Starbucks, I said, see that payment processor that you're using to take your credit card payments, what is that? And they said, well, we use a system from a company called Square. And I was like, oh, okay. So I went and looked up and did a bit of research on this company, Square. Square was actually founded by Jack Dorsey, who is the CEO of Twitter as well. And when I kind of read Jack's story and his energy and his vibe and where he's seen the future and things like mobile payments, I knew even back in 2016, mobile payments were going to be a big thing. And I thought Square was a bit of a trendsetter. So anyway, I went over to Google and I did a bit of background reading on this. And I could see that Square had literally just launched on the stock market. So I thought, okay, let's have a look at this. So they floated in the market. I think it was roughly about $10 a share, $10 a share, something around that anyway. Went up to about $13 and then dropped to about 10. And this was in the first, couple of months of launching. So I sort of decided, well, I think this is a pretty good bet. So what we'll do is let's log on to the computer here. And what I'll do is I'll actually show you when I bought the share, show you what it's worth now, and I'll give you two shares that I think could be the next ones to really pop in the next 5 years. Alrighty, so we're over at Google here and we're looking at the Square share price. So as you can see, if we just look here at the date, share roughly was $12.85. I thought I said 2016, it must have actually been 2015. I was over in San Francisco. So as we can see, 12, 11 bucks a share, went down to 8, then it kind of went around $10. And I think this is roughly somewhere around here where I bought into the company, or maybe around there. But anyway, what then happened was Square went through a series of ups and downs like it does with any share. But because I bought on at $10, you could see that this was exponentially multiplying. So over the years, look, it was up and up and up. And I'll be honest with you, see when it hit $94 a share, I'd nearly 10x'd my investment. I was tempted to sell because a 10x investment is still a great return. Like 10 times your money in 2 years is fantastic. But again, I went back, I was reading about Jack Dorsey, I was reading about where they were going, and I sort of thought, you know what, I reckon this one's a keeper. Let's see where this goes. So as you can see, this stock went back down again. It dropped to like 50 bucks and I was like, oh man. But when you buy a share, you got to believe in the company and you got to believe in the long term of it. So as you can see, I just wrote it out. And then when the COVID crash happened, the shares actually hit $38 a share. And again, people are thinking, whoa, should I sell my initial investment? But I knew that I would never get in at that $10 price ever again, okay? So I was like, nope, I'm just going to hold. And as you can see, the share price is now literally catapulted up to $180. So as it stands now, I bought in at about $10. It's now 18 times my money. So people always ask me, look, Foxy, what do you recommend is the next big share to buy? So let me tell you what I think anyway, okay? What I would put a speculative bet on, okay? So again, let me show you the history behind this. So when tech shares are released, a lot of them struggle initially. So let me actually show you this. I'm going to show you the Facebook share price. So let's look at Facebook. Again, it went on the market, $38 a share, 2012. And as you can see, it actually dropped to about $19 a share. So it literally halved its money, okay? And again, investors were nervous. They were like, oh my God, have I bought the right thing? But as you can see, it took a while to stabilize. And it took until actually, if we look at the graph here, it actually took until July 2013 to come back, 16th of August 2013, to come back at its original listing price in May 2012. So when a tech stock is released, it can go through a bit of a bumpy period in the initial phase, but as you can see, the growth since then has been, it's peaked out at 668% return on investment. So 6 to 7 times your money in 8 years. Again, that's a fantastic investment. Ask any investor if you could 6x his money in 6 years. He'll be pretty happy with that. So again, I didn't buy into Facebook at $38, but I did buy in at around $94 there. So I bought in around here. So again, I got a tremendous gain. I still made about 2.5 times my money on it. I actually sold a good chunk of shares on Facebook and went down to some other place. So that's, again, an example of how tech stocks can be quite volatile. So let me show you now the 2 shares that I'm looking at that I think could be good potential ones. So here's Snapchat, okay? So again, let's look at Snapchat. Now, Snapchat is literally only listed on the stock market as of 3rd of March 2017, okay? So it's been on the stock market for about 3.5 years. And as we can see on screen, it literally dived to at one stage being worth $4.99 a share. But, it climbed on its way back up. The crash happened recently, $10 a share. But now it's holding at $26 a share. So again, why am I thinking Snapchat has the potential? Well, at $26 a share, it still could represent pretty good value. Now let me explain what I believe the up and coming generation is. So we have Snapchat. The 3, what I see anyway, the most popular social media platforms at the minute for younger generation users, it's a battle between 3 platforms. There's Snapchat, there's TikTok, and there's also Instagram. So if you sort of speak to anyone on the age group of like 12 years old all the way up to 25 years old, they are the 3 most predominant social media platforms. So as I said, I reckon Snapchat has I reckon it's got a way to go. So I've bought in some Snapchat there because I do believe I'm already about 25, actually I'm about 30% up so far. So it's been a pretty good buy so far. But again, I'm in this for the long term. I'm not looking at it because I believe the stock market could be quite turbulent over the coming years, but I'm buying with the long-term view. So what I'll most likely do is when I've kind of doubled my money from it, if it hits double its money, I will pull my initial investment out and I'll just leave the profit in there to see what happens. Now, my last pick, I said I'll give you 2 picks. Here's the other pick that I'm pretty interested in, and that's Uber. So again, if we look at Uber, look at the share price here. We were at $41 a share, again, launched 10th of May 2019. And as you can see, it literally went down to $26. Again, you can see this with tech stocks. They launch, they have a little bounce up sometimes, and then they shoot down and they go back up. This is, from what I'm seeing, as you can see what I'm sharing with you, this is quite a normal ride for a tech company. You've got to wait it out, and you've got to believe in the company. So again, $26, as we can see up here. We peaked at $40 a share. So again, it's almost just matching the initial price when it launched. And then look at the crash. It happened, boom, down at $21 a share. But as we can see, it's been on the steady climb back up. Now, let's look at what Uber does. Uber, known as Uber, offers vehicles for hire, food delivery, package delivery, couriers, freight transportation, and through a partnership with Lime, electric, bicycle, and motorized scooter rental. I see the shared driving market where people are car sharing. Even when obviously lockdown happened, it meant that people were getting food delivered. Uber started growing again a bit. So I really believe that Uber, they're one of the first people to market with this. They've got a good team behind them, and honestly, I think that Uber is one of those sleepers. So I could be right and I could be very wrong, but obviously I bought into Square at the start. I've made an 1,800 plus return on investment so far if I was to sell today. I'm holding on to that for 10, 20 years. I'm just going to see that one out. I bought into Facebook. I made over 2.5 times my money back there. And this is where I'm seeing a bit of value now. So the car sharing technology, we're going to have like driverless cars at some point. We're going to have AI cars. I like what I'm seeing. So like I said, it's only my opinion. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm actually less qualified than anyone. In fact, you're more qualified than me on camera here now, but what I'm saying is just my personal opinion. So it's just for education value anyway. So with that being said, thank you for watching, and like and hit the subscribe button and all that good stuff, and I'll see you in the next episode.